Hello, welcome back to everyone that's tuned into the channel. American Ultra Stock here. Today I'm joined by Braden, Akil, and a very special guest. He made an appearance before, the Godfather, Big Leo, joining us today. We're going to be discussing the CONCACAF rankings, the United States in 11th place. It's not that relevant in terms to judge quality, but it is relevant to a World Cup draw, for example. And I'm just going to get started straight to Leo. What's your opinion about the United States being in 11th place? It's definitely an improvement from the past, but what can you take from this?
Well, there's not much really you can say about it because the ratings is there for a reason. The rankings is there for a reason. So wherever we placed is kind of deserved. You know, if we would have won more games against the teams that we played, we would have been higher up the rankings. And since we didn't, that's why we're 11th.
Akil, what do you think? I know you're not a huge FIFA rankings fan, and let's just keep in mind, guys, we're probably going to drop a little bit because of the Gold Cup. We didn't take our strongest roster. It's going to take a huge effort to win it, honestly, but yeah, let's just keep that in mind. Next FIFA rankings are updated. We're probably going to drop to 14th or something. But Akil, what do you think?
I'm just pulling up the FIFA rankings right now. So I see we're behind Spain and ahead of Switzerland. And 11th, I don't know if that suits us perfectly, but it looks good because we've won many games so far. But the only reason why we're so high is that we haven't played a tough opponent since the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's a fair take. I think like you, it's somewhat fair in terms of how to judge where we are in the world. I think we're a little bit lower, honestly. We try to rank based on quality, but yeah, it is deserved for us to be there. Just wish we would play better opponents, and we're gonna get started on the friendlies that were announced later on in the video. But Brayden, what do you think about the FIFA rankings? Do you think it's a fair placement for us, and what do you think it means in the long run?
Yeah, I think like you guys said, it might be a little bit too high, and yeah, Akil said we haven't played a good opponent in a while, but the fact that we beat Mexico and Canada both so comfortably, and Mexico are only a couple spots below us, shows that we do have the quality. We just are lacking a bit in terms of the games. And there are a couple teams below us like Morocco, Uruguay, and maybe Senegal that I think should probably be ahead. But overall, I think top 15 is definitely deserved, and maybe just a little high, but it's more than less where we should be.
Yeah, I think the World Cup proved it. I mean, round of 16, it does grant you that. We are for sure, I think, between the 15 best national teams right now in the world. I think we're just entering that top 15, to be honest. But, I mean, it's disappointing to see that our opponents, both of you guys mentioned, they haven't been strong. And then we got the Gold Cup, which we don't have a strong roster. Berhalter, we know he has some influence up to some extent in this competition, but he doesn't get to coach it because they want to stat pad him. And then the friendlies that were announced, we're playing Uzbekistan and Oman. I mean, look at their FIFA rankings if you want to judge that to base their quality, rate their quality. And it's just really disappointing that we get to play them. I know it's an international window. It's tough to get a huge country to play us because everyone's kind of busy, but we could have been a little bit more creative, in my opinion. Leo, what do you think about those types of opponents? We're going to play them in October, if I'm not mistaken, right?
September, I
Oman,
think.
Oh, yeah, September.
September.
Yeah, the October one is the one. But yeah,
I don't even know.
I
don't even know how to say one of them, but I know Oman's one of them, and then it's like what is the other one?
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. Yeah. I mean, they're not good teams, as we already know. We should be going for better friendlies. If we're a top 10 country, trying to go into the top 10 FIFA rankings, like we shouldn't be playing teams that are 50th and 70th ranked in the world. But I don't know. Maybe it's because Greg's only coming back and they want to give him an easy run. I don't know, but technically we should be going for European quality teams up. Belgium, Spain, good teams like that. But I don't know. But we should be able to win them comfortably with a weak enough roster. So that's the only plus.
Yeah, I mean, there is a plus that maybe they'll try to ease in some new players, but I don't know. Greg's at the helm. I don't really know anything. What's going to be his criteria? But Akil, what do you think about those friendlies? How would you approach them? Would you approach them as developmental friendlies, like it should be in the Gold Cup? How would you look at it, and who would you like to see, for example?
I'm not a fan at all because these two teams are the teams that India should be playing. And like we could, this is a huge missed opportunity to get some creative teams to play against, such as maybe Korea, Scotland, Poland, Serbia, Sweden. Like it's just a huge missed opportunity to like really develop and put our case against the big UEFA teams.
Yeah, that's fair. Braden, who would you like to see, for example? Who would you try to get creative with in this window? Like you mentioned South Korea. I think it would be nice to get some Asian countries to play. How do you see it?
Well, I actually do think that they were creative with these friendlies because Oman and Uzbekistan are just two completely random nations. Like, it doesn't make any sense to be playing them, but definitely not creative in a good way. They're 73rd and 74th in the FIFA rankings, and that's just well below the teams that we should be playing. For reference, that's about on the same level as El Salvador, who, like, if we were playing them, we'd get absolutely bashed. So I think we, like Akil said, some top quality European teams, maybe Japan and Korea, would be a nice little trip to East Asia. And yeah, it's just not our level, and it's disappointing.
Yeah, Japan gets really creative because they always play CONMEBOL countries in South America. They try to play some European opposition as much as possible. And you see the way that they're developing. They really punch above their weight. If you take into consideration population as well, country size, we really should be doing better. And I want to ask you guys, who do you guys think makes up, who arranges these friendlies? Because I don't even know if it's the sporting director at this point, if the manager has a say. Who do you guys think was behind this genius idea?
That's exactly what I was going to say as well, because like it's consistently we should be playing better teams all the time, and we're consistently getting poorer teams than our level. We should be at least getting teams that are top 10, top 20 in the FIFA rankings, and we time and time again they just keep letting us down with these friendlies. But I heard there was rumors that maybe it was going to be there's going to be more European friendlies, but I don't know. I don't see them coming.
Yeah, I think we got Ghana and Germany after that. That's a good window, honestly. It puts our players way more up to the test, and it's more productive of a friendly. But
Is
yeah,
that confirmed yet? Germany and Ghana?
Yes. Yeah,
Is
those
that
are
confirmed?
confirmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it mistaken. They are in October, right? The
Yes.
Uzbekistan and Oman in September. That's a nice little friendly. I think some of our players will be easing into the process of adapting to a new club, hopefully. So it should be a good opportunity for them to showcase. I was going to ask you guys about roster selection. I know it's really early, but who would you guys like to see by then that hasn't really been called up?
Well, for me, definitely Jack McGillen. I want to see him in the if you can't call him up against Oman and that Uzbekistan or whatever the name is, then like is he ever going to get a call up? You know what I mean? Because he showed it in the Under-20 World Cup. He's a good player, so I think this is his chance now to get at least a call up to those two friendlies against two poor teams, and he definitely could get the job done. That's my number one call up.
Akil, who would you like to see in terms of shout out? Just like Leo said, McGlynn, that's a nice one. Who would you like to see if they were to call domestic players for that friendly?
Only domestic players?
No, just asking in general, players that are
Okay.
fringe players, some domestic ones.
Yeah, first I go with Malik Tillman because he hasn't gotten a call up since last year, I think. And then Georgi Mihailovic, he hasn't been with the first team and like the actual first team, not the Gold Cup yet. And he's just got that move to AZ. I think he could make a case for himself over people like Soniora. That they should be gone from the national team. And yeah, Jack McGlynn, like Leo and Braden mentioned.
Yeah. Braden.
And apart from that,
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, apart from that, probably Cade Cowell with the first team.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Let's see how he does for the rest of the Gold Cup. But I agree. I mean, those two friendlies, they're Cade Cowell, McGlynn. You can start them. We should beat them anyways. Braden, who would you see out of the box to be called up for this friendly?
Yeah, I really like the suggestions that we've had from Leo and Akil. I think that these two friendlies should definitely be used for more developmental purposes, since we do have Germany and Ghana in October that we can use probably our A team for. I'd like to see Paxton Aronson here. I think he's pretty much graduated to a senior level player from the U20s, and Frankfurt just haven't been letting him get opportunities with the national team, and sometime that has to change. But the names that they mentioned as well, McGlynn, Tillman, Mihailovic, I think they're good as well. Cade Cowell, I'm not sure about, just because he hasn't been too great at the Gold Cup, and I'm not sure if he's senior team level yet, but his time will definitely come.
Well, he's had one game. I think he'll definitely improve as time goes on.
And the question as well is, what's the story with Malik Tillman? Does anybody?
I think he's injured currently.
He's injured right now. Yeah,
But is he still with Bayern then? Yeah, he's not going to go back to the Rangers, I don't think.
They rearranged his fee. They pulled back their buyout clause percentage. So that's a good sign. It shows that they think the player is valued at a higher fee than originally thought because of his season. So it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Honestly. But
just hopefully he leaves Bayern though, because he probably won't get a chance, like at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to stay one more year at Rangers, and I'm fine with that. To be honest.
That's a good move. Hopefully, maybe Carter.
I want him to go.
Maybe he'll leave Celtic as well this year. I think he's proven that he's well over the ability of that Scottish league.
Yeah, I think it's a good time as well to mention to the viewers we are going to make another transfer update video. A lot of transfers sort of heating up. Let's see. I'm just going to mention this so the people on YouTube know that I'm a Tasman fan, because I always say it in the group chat, but I never mention it in video. I would like to see Tasman against Old Man and Uzbekistan. Reports today in Italy were pretty high. I mean, there was an insider at Atalanta, Giacomo. He's a really well-known, not a Fabrizio Romano type of guy, but he's an insider at Atalanta. They are edging to actually make an official bid to Venezia at 7.5 million euros. I think it's a fair evaluation of tenor. And I would personally like to see him go to Bologna, but Atalanta's a nice move. It shows that he has earned himself a Serie A spot, and I would like to see him in those friendlies as well. I just wanted to mention the player that I would like to see, and all the other suggestions were great as well. All right, guys, we got the CONCACAF national teams. They all got updated into the rankings. Do you guys think it's fair? I think personally, I don't think I'm being biased. I think Mexico is kind of high in that list. They're in 14th place. Basically, their results against poor countries have really patted them to that spot. And what do you guys think about the rest of the CONCACAF countries on their rankings? We saw news of Canada Federation possibly filing for bankruptcy. I mean, I don't even know how that even happens. But what do you guys think about the state of our region in general? I'll go to Braden first.
Yeah, like you said, I think Mexico's too high. I think, to be fair, you could say we're a little too high as well. But Mexico at 14, especially considering they didn't make it out the group stage in the World Cup, and they're at one of their lowest points in a long time now, as of now. So they're too high. But Canada are still way too low, and it's been like this for a while. But even though they're going through some difficult times financially, we've seen that they're definitely probably a top 2 team in CONCACAF. I think they've surpassed Mexico for now, and they're still 45th overall and 4th in CONCACAF, behind even Costa Rica, which I think is ridiculous in all honesty, because I think even Panama has passed Costa Rica now, and Jamaica are well on their way as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think they consider, I don't know what the exact time span is for this, but it seems like they consider the recent history of 10 years or something. I mean, Costa Rica, the last really impressive run was basically 7-8 years ago when they actually had that generation going on. But Akil, what do you think? I agree with Brandon. I think Canada are way too low. Honestly, if they were placed 14th, I would still think it's way too high, but it would be more understandable to put Mexico in 45th than to place Canada there.
Yeah, personally, I think Jamaica should be the 3rd best team in CONCACAF, but I think they have the most potential, apart from the U.S., out of any other CONCACAF team. And Canada, 45th, I think around that would be pretty good, and that's pretty reasonable considering they haven't done anything apart from getting first in qualifying. And they only have David and Davies who've been part of their campaign. And yeah, that's it.
All right, Leo, what do you think? I agree with Akil. It's nice to mention Jamaica. I mean, their roster is pretty raw. They don't really have much chemistry, but they have potential in the future, just like Suriname, to actually do well if they recruit dual nets. What do you
Oh,
think, Leo?
really? Oh, yeah. Well, I just think Canada being 45th. I mean, it is a little bit. It's a little bit bad for Canada, but at the same time, the FIFA rankings are there. They're all calculated by wins, losses, and draws, and the opponents they played. So it's, wherever you're placed in the FIFA rankings is deserved according to the FIFA rankings. And I mean, it's a long process to kind of build yourself up. And Canada's only starting to been actually doing good in the last 2 or 3 years. So I mean, 45th is kind of reasonable. But for Jamaica, I was shocked that they didn't even qualify for the World Cup because they seem to have a great team, but they played some good games as well in the World Cup qualifiers way back, but they didn't seem to get the wins, and they seem to be kind of unlucky. But I do agree with Akil. I think Jamaica definitely maybe not top three yet, but they definitely can go top three over Mexico. And these Mexican viewers won't be happy about that, but I think they definitely can jump to third behind USA and Canada.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention one thing about Jamaica. Their federation has been pretty bad for the recent history, and like you guys said, their roster is really good. But the reason they didn't qualify and the reason they are so low is because their federation is a complete joke. They only recently got a good coach and started recruiting some good dual nationals. Obviously, Mikel Antonio, Damari Gray, Leon Bailey, and they haven't won in a long time. So that's why they're low. But I do agree the potential is definitely there for them to jump some teams.
Yeah, I think it's fair to assume that if they were to play Mexico right now, they can actually beat them. Honestly, I think toe to toe they can actually have a good game against them. But yeah, just I was gonna ask you guys just to try to make this a little bit fun because FIFA rankings is pretty boring. Do you guys where would you place the United States right now if you were trying to judge it based on quality and talent? Where would you rank us? I'll start with Akil.
I'd say around estimated around 14th. I see that there's teams like Uruguay are better than us that are below us. Japan, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the teams that are below us. I think we're better than almost all of them. And for the teams that are above us, we got obviously the big teams: Spain, Portugal, Italy, Netherlands, Croatia, Belgium, England, Brazil, and France. So I think this is pretty reasonable, but there's only minor changes that I'd make to it.
Where is Germany in that the FIFA rankings? Because I definitely think we're better
Germany
than
are
them.
15th
15.
behind
Yeah.
Mexico.
Oh yeah, because I was thinking we're
Yeah.
definitely better than them.
Yeah, they lost 2-0 to Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then yeah, Mexico should not be that high. I think they should be below 20th. That's my opinion.
yeah, that's fair. Leo, where would you place us if you are trying to, with this criteria, talent, quality, ceiling? Where would you place us?
I definitely think we're better than everyone else. Probably disagree, but I think we're top 10 for sure because like we have a lot of talent, and at the World Cup like you can just see already how much of a difference Gio Reyna makes on the pitch when he plays. Whenever he played against Canada and Mexico, you can just see how good he is. So if you just played him and he was high in confidence, fully fit against Netherlands, he would have made a huge difference. And then if you think about players that didn't make the roster, like Chris Richards, because he was injured for the World Cup, he's another player that played great in the Nations League. So if you put in the players that were injured and low in confidence and they fell out with the manager, if they would have started, I think we could have potentially beat the Netherlands. That's in my opinion.
All right, Braden, where would you rank us? Do you think? I agree with Leo. I think right now we have, I think for sure, everyone would agree, a way better roster than back then. Even the recruitment of Balogun, for example. I think when new players on form as well, Booth, players that weren't even getting a shout before then. I mean, we are improving. We're on the right track. Where would you place us?
Yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting point that Leo brought up. The fact that we didn't see Gio Reyna play too much at the World Cup. Obviously, no Balogun, no Chris Richards, missing definitely some key players that would make our team better. And if we're going to go based on recent results, I think it wouldn't be too far fetched to say that we could be ahead of Italy and maybe even Belgium, just considering Italy haven't qualified for the last two World Cups, and Belgium didn't even make it out the group in the World Cup, and their golden generation has been on a steady decline for a while now. But there are a couple teams below us, like Morocco, Uruguay, Senegal, Japan, that I think are probably ahead based on results and talent. So overall, I think 13th would probably be a good spot for us.
Yeah,
Exactly what I was
I was
gonna
also
say.
thinking about. Sorry, I was
Go ahead.
also thinking about Italy, and shout out to Braden for mentioning Italy. And it's kind of a heated debate, like to say who's better, the U.S. or Italy currently.
I mean, even my Italian family, for the viewers that don't know, I have my last name is Tussolini. I'm pretty Italian. I always visit there. I think that all of them are unanimously saying that the U.S. could actually have a shot to beat them right now. Maybe this is biased. I think we have a better national team than them. I mean, even at the U21s Euros, you can see they were on the rise apparently because of the season that some of the youth players had, but they got out in the group stage, 2 losses. And honestly, I don't think Italy has a cohesive way of playing as a as a unit. So I do think we're ranked higher than we are. I would place us higher than them. But I think that Morocco and Senegal and Japan really are above us. I think we're better than Uruguay. Most people may disagree, but I actually think if we were to play Uruguay tomorrow with a full strength team, I think we beat them. I'll back us to beat them for sure.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Uruguay really scares us next year. I mean, everything is going to be put to the test in Copa America next year, and hopefully we show the world, because a lot of people have their eyes on that competition, even in Europe. Hopefully we show the world that we deserve to be amongst the top 10 even, perhaps. But I'll place us 13th right now. Anything else that you guys want to add about this?
Well,
Yeah,
just about
Morocco.
the FIFA
ahead.
rankings
Leo.
anyway. About like do I agree with the top 10? I mean, like if you look at the players that are moving now, like Pulisic, he has the potential now to be a starter for AC Milan. Weston McKennie, hopefully he can be a starter this year. Timothy Weah, guys like Gio Reyna might be a starter. Like all these players now that are playing for top teams, and they're all going to be starting. Like we need to start to think that we are definitely as good as teams like Belgium. Whenever you compare player by player, we have just as much quality. And same with Italy, and same with like as well as Japan too. Like I think we're better than Japan, even though we lost to them. But if we played them again, I mean I could see us definitely having a good game against them, possibly beating them. That's why I'm saying that we are definitely a top 10 nation in the FIFA rankings with like Balogun and stuff. Like it's 100%. I think we can be up there.
All right, Akil, you had something to say?
Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about Morocco, and I'd say that we even if we played Morocco now, we'd beat them. That's kind of a hot take, but like I'm biased kind of, and I think we do have the talent now with Balogun and Reina coming in and playing full form,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Belgium too. I think we could potentially beat Belgium.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's an absurd take. I mean, I'll say that against Morocco, we would have a good chance of beating them. I just think Senegal and Japan are tough. But Braden, anything else you want to add?
On the Morocco thing, we did see us beat them before the World Cup. I think pretty comfortably as well. It was 2-0 or 3-0. I can't remember
3-0,
which,
yeah.
but 3-0, yeah. But that wasn't their main team. They had some coaching problems, I think, as well. And maybe you could say we could beat them now, but I think just based on the fact that they did make the World Cup semifinal, I think the respect has to be given to them for now at least.
Yeah, respect. But if you think about it, on the group stage, they could have easily gone out. And I mean, respect and props to them for fighting it out to semifinals. But I think in terms of quality, we should have enough to go at least toe to toe with them and not be the underdogs. All right. Thank you to everyone who watched the video. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Braden, Leo, Akil. Nice to see Leo making his comeback here. And watch out for the new transfer video we're going to put out, the transfer updates. We're going to be talking about and discussing the players that are closer to a move, new rumors that are surfacing, and just a full analysis of that. Make sure you give us a like, a subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
See
and
you
also,
again, guys.
guys,
Thanks for watching.
guys,
Bye.
let us know if you want a video on Jeff's trial.
Oh yeah, that's true. He was on the run next time. We got a subscriber commenting that he was on the run. Braden paid his bail, but apparently Akil has info that he was taken into custody. So
Bad man, Jeff.
all right. Peace out, guys.
See you.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.